So really excited to hear about your next moves, and it's all you.
Thank you. Really excited to talk about our next moves. Thank you guys for coming back from that coffee break. That could have been an easy slip out, but okay, disclosure, we're not going to talk about offerings, securities, the sale of securities, nothing like that. So there's our standard disclosure. We can go right into our presentation. Generation Next. A lot of the conversations today have been talking about ecosystems and platforms and kind of the new world of investing and the new technologies that are available and how we are working collaboratively to kind of support each other and our various efforts in this space. So what's cool about this is investing is changing, especially for younger generations. Millennials, 53% of them manage their own investments. So there's certainly still a space for broker-dealers and that group of investors who like to have an advisor, like to have a rep, want someone to bounce their investment ideas off of and have someone guide their portfolios. But there's also a huge class of investors who want to do it themselves. They are more savvy than we give them credit for. They're fully aware of the risks, and they're like, yeah, I'm comfortable placing my money in some of those alternative things that are risky, and I'm just hoping that, I'll lose some here but make really big gains in other places. So they are looking for alternative investments, particularly ESG. They care about where they're placing their money and the companies that they are supporting and essentially voting for with their dollars. So, thank you. Okay, so changing the rules. Millennials are changing the rules. They want to make their own decisions, and they want access to information. So one of the things that Rowe Capital is offering and providing is kind of the same thing, this ecosystem, we call it matchmaking or Build-A-Bear. You know the Build-A-Bear concept when you can go get a little teddy bear designed to your specifications? We are offering that type of enterprise for issuers and for entrepreneurs who want to go out and raise capital and need kind of the start to finish guidance and support in doing so. So Rowe Capital is providing information both to those new savvy investors that want access to different types of opportunities and alternative investments, and providing the support to those issuers who are looking for capital and particularly need support around all of those processes. What we have found is that there's a whole group of startups and entrepreneurs that want to go out and raise capital, but they also need to focus on running their business. So we provide end-to-end support to set them up for success before they bring in $1, and then we'll talk about it a little later in the presentation. Also, once they bring in $1, give them a world of support in all of their back-end investor experiences. So, introducing Rowe, the diversified digital investment platform. We are committed to empowering that next generation with financial independence. Again, they want to make their own investment decisions. Cool, let's give them a place where they can educate themselves and find those opportunities that they might be interested in. We give investors the tools to educate themselves and make their own decisions. And then we understand that the whole landscape is changing, right? We love being part of this ecosystem that's driving this new wave of investing. That's why we're different. Powerful slide. So we've got an extensive network of partners, Vertalo included, and this again goes back to this new style. It's no longer super competitive, it's more collaborative. So everyone in this room is doing something a little bit different, and all of our efforts combined, we're kind of filling different gaps in the space to create this entirely new investing environment.
So when you look at our company, areas that we focus is on stuff that we've done. So real estate, technology, and non-traditional assets. So when we're looking for these companies, back to the Build-A-Bear matchmaking concept there, we really focus initially on that company as they're trying to do a capital raise. So out of curiosity, how many here have done a capital raise or been a part of a capital raise? That's a lot of room, a lot of people in this place. And a lot of people, when they first start, don't even know where to go. It's a Google search to figure out what is a capital raise, how do I get infusion into my company. So it's looking at that from that part and starting this ecosystem when these companies are first designing what the deal looks like. And then that's where we come in to really help them, and with some of our partners, to help them create the offering documents to launch their company to get to the next level. And then when the Build-A-Bear concept, we start adding the other services on to help. One of the speakers before mentioned if it lives on a platform and it doesn't do anything, it doesn't go anywhere, right? So we have a marketing division as well that really helps the companies create investments that, or create market material that speaks to the investor. And then we help push it out for them. So we come up with the marketing plan for the company versus a lot of other companies, once that offering subscription document's done, you now have to go find your own company to do your marketing. So we're becoming more of a one-stop shop there. And it becomes scalable. We have a relationship across the board with other industries, so it's not just us. If you need help with the capital raise, we don't do any of the capital raise. Then we have partnerships with RIAs, IBDs that can come in and help those parts of that sector there. And we use Vertalo for a lot of our stuff. So when we come in, that investor, as the company comes into the platform, the company gets access to seeing all their cap tables. It gives them all the tools they need to correctly manage their day-to-day, but doesn't have to focus on their on the capital raise. They can focus on growing their business as which they're hired to do, and then we come in and we help facilitate the rest of their day-to-day of getting the capital through there. The back end side, this is the other part, is once that $1 comes in, now we're in a new phase of the raise here, right? So once somebody gets that first part, our servicing comes in and we help with the servicing of the company. Again, you think of, we always talk about the capital raise of people needing capital. We do have a handful of companies that are the exact opposite. They have capital already lined up, but they don't know what to do with it. So we can help them with the offering docs to get all those done. And then once it's funded, then we come in and take over the servicing of the rest of the project until the fund's concluded. And by fund concluded, in our terms, that means everything's done. It's been, the fund's completed, the last 2 years, taxes, everything's done. And that LLC, if it was an LLC just doing the capital raise, can shut down. So that's kind of how far we're looking at this whole start to end process of helping a company the whole way through their development there. Our team, so just a background here, Jackie mentioned that 75% of us are millennials. Rowe itself stands for Results-Oriented Women Entrepreneurship. So of our executive team, 75% of our team is led by females. I'm the one exception that is not. So our founder and managing partner, Candace, she oversees all of our stuff. And not to give a shout out, but her and Jackie have their own podcast as well, WTF.
Like, subscribe, follow.
Women Talking Finance. So it is they've just done their 4th episode. And then in that time, they are quickly moving up and they've already have close to, I think, 1,200 subscribers in that time, which is a very fast growth project of them. They have episodes coming and they talk about a lot of different topics, not just investments here, but personal growth, how to do a lot of this in the space. So we're super excited for them on that. Our other chief operating officer is Christine Hyatt. She comes from a banking background. She really helps on strategies for our company, investments, and then, he already talked about us, so we're both here. And I'll turn it back over to Jackie here to kind of talk about our other behind-the-scenes part of our company, which is the workhorse and the power engine that does everything for us.
Introducing Launch Velocity. So this is an affiliate of Rowe Capital Group, and we've talked in kind of a vague way about all of the things with investment processes and supporting issuers and supporting groups that are raising capital, but let's talk really about the specifics. What does that mean? We mapped out kind of all of the services, all the things we do and the services we offer, and I'm going to go like this because it was a wheel. I keep doing this. We start, okay, so say an issuer wants to raise capital. They need an entity. They need an LLC. We've talked about series LLCs. They need legal support in even getting an operating agreement for an entity. We're talking about a lot of fine details here that happen before we even start talking about deal specifics, financial modeling, creating those investment documents, PPM, subscription documents, all the things, right? Before then we even get further up the wheel into the marketing and the media and helping them understand who their network is. so that they can go and access their network for a capital raise. And this is all pre-$1. And then after $1, can we go to the next slide? There might be some, yeah. After $1 comes in, there are so many things, we call it this white glove service, so many things we can do to support that investor experience. And again, take that stress off of the company that's raising capital and let them focus on being entrepreneurs. Let them focus on running their business. So our launch velocity team handles things like tax documents, statements for the investors, quarterly updates, letting them know what's going on with their investment, having a welcome call, just being a point where someone can talk to a human person about their investment, payment processing, financial modeling, waterfalls, investor portal access. We've got, working with Vertalo for these, the integration piece, giving them a really robust portal and potentially this secondary market for their investments. Webinars, a lot of videography, got a great media team, Rowe Media, super robust, talented group of people that give really high quality marketing materials to help those groups go out and raise capital. And then I think next slide talks, there you go, we went to it, thank you. Internal audits. Helping a company, so if you've got a company who's raising capital, in their PPM, they're gonna probably make some statements to investors about what those investors can expect. Dividends, if they're gonna get payments, if they're gonna get those quarterly updates. And then again, we want those entrepreneurs to go out and focus on running their business. Who's gonna be reminding them? We're keeping a calendar of things and commitments that they have made. So we will support them in those processes by handling those things so that they're actually following up and meeting their commitments to their investors. So things like internal audits, we'll look at asset management, distributions, if there's loan covenants, things like that, we'll help them manage those aspects of it. And then I think we talked a little bit about risk management. That kind of comes in on this side of the wheel, looking at how they're setting up their offering, what exemption they're going to be offering under, whether their documents are meeting, whether they're filing their Form Ds if it's a Reg D, all of those compliance aspects. I think that might be the end of no, let's meet our team. They're right over here. Tony, Kelly, and Angela, they are the driving force behind Launch Velocity. They are the people that sit there all day, every day. And they were actually the ones that said there is a world of data and service here. And this goes back to that robust enterprise and ecosystem where we are all simultaneously contributing and adding value into this new way of investing and a new experience both for entrepreneurs and investors. Expand your reach. Contact us today. Any questions? Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think you covered it very well. Like she said, like and subscribe for her podcast.
Dave?
Perfect.
Did you get our questions?
Oh, sorry, it looks like we might have.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just curious to hear how you decide to launch this second arm and kind of what the interest has been since the launch.
No, it's a great question. So basically, what we've done over time is we had been piecemealing together for years, helping other companies raise, and then it was, well, we're done with our part here, now go to this other company and find somebody to do this. And over time, what happened is this team here has started designing all this with Vertalo, using a CRM system. It's not saying that you can't go get a CRM system to manage your clients, but it's very customizable when you start getting into doing all these steps that ties into how to manage the fund once $1 comes in, or even before, to set everything up. So over time, we've really learned through trial and error on how to get the servicing done. And one other part there is you think of a lot of these companies, they get a canned PPM or something. They may not realize as part of their stuff is going through that document that says, hey, every quarter I got to do an update to investors, and then it's missed, and then by quarter 3, the investors are upset, and that's not where you want to be. So we kind of deconstruct all that front end part to making sure all the subscription agreements, all the things are there set up in the back end system, so we know there's a quarterly update here. We know statements need to be sent here. We know this needs to occur, and we take over all that part for the companies as they're developing, so they can develop the rest of their business on it.
I love this question. Thank you. Because it's like, how do we get to how are we sitting here right now in this chair? And we do a team exercise every year where we bring the team in and do, it's kind of like a boot camp, but we talk about all the things we're doing and try to troubleshoot things and try to refine ourselves and get better. And one of our exercises we did, I'm gonna do this wheel again, right? Because we drew it out, we mapped it out, all of the things we do. And our takeaway was like, whoa, we're doing a lot more than we realize we're doing, and there's value here. Because until you're in it, I think those issuers that are raising capital don't realize all that does go into it or all that can go into it. And throughout our conversations today, we've talked about the exemption scheme alone, right? Or the whole possibility that secondary markets and ATSs open up. So once you're in it, you're like, okay, in 4 to 6 weeks, I can be live with a capital raise. Great, then what? There's just, I keep doing this, there's so many things on the wheel that happen, and we realized we were doing all of them, and we weren't aware of anyone else that was doing, providing the wheel. So it's a space that we enjoy, a space that we're good in. Our background is in private equity, so investing alongside those groups who are raising capital. And so there's kind of a takeaway over time. We've refined all of these different things that we've said yes to. Yes, we can help with that. Yes, we can help with that. Yes, we've got relationships. And so here we are today.
Yeah, we have a team of people that says yes. How can we make this work? And that's part of the reason we really like Vertalo, Dillbox, some of our other people with in the system, is there's a common yes theme of how do we make this work from point A to point B. And I think one of the biggest undertakings that we did was blue skies and UCCs. So somebody else mentioned that system. It's a very complex system, 50 states, 50 different ways to do it. And at the time, we couldn't find anybody that did it. So we're like, we'll figure out how to do it ourselves. We brought in some experts, figured it out. And now in our system, it's part of just the package that somebody can do when it's ready to file blue skies, or if somebody wants to do a UCC against something, then that's part of just our back-end governance system that we have in place.
Questions. First one is, so have you automated it? Is it automated that you could do the audits pretty much for these offerings, or is that you gotta constantly ask the group, hey, we need X, Y, and Z so we can do your audits for the quarter?
So you're saying after the fund is actually live? Yeah. So yeah, we've automated a lot of those back-end pieces there to tell us where it's at. We still have communications with the companies to making sure everything is still on that side. So we have our internal team double checking all the numbers. I imagine everybody in here at one point or another sent out a statement that had something wrong. So it's getting those things correct, and then it's having the automation in there afterwards. And then we have another program we use on top of it called Logigate that actually helps with the automation process to making sure that everything is checked off and you can't push stuff through without it. So it is a lot of safeguards put in there. And I think it is one of those things that we're always constantly looking at improving as well. So, yeah.
Got it. And then the second one is, you mentioned you guys don't help raising money, but then you also mentioned you have access to funds that have money that they need to use. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
I can maybe clarify a little on that. That's a great question too. So yes, we are here to support those issuers who are raising capital. Sometimes what that looks like, their use of proceeds might be very, very specific, and they have a plan of how they want to deploy or how they need to deploy capital. Other times they don't. So with this private equity background and the like the modeling experience we've got, we do have that ability to assist them in that way or provide support. Some companies may elect to have that support, others may not need it.
So pretty much these are funds that are, let's say, biofuel space. You have a fund that will raise the capital, and then if they don't go for the opportunity or what they were looking to invest on, you can point them to other opportunities within the same industry.
Yeah, so we can, that's where we kind of reach out to our partner network saying, hey, we may have to co-list this with, you as the project sponsor may need to co-list this with another company. So here it is another place, and they have a full BD channel type of stuff on their system that can maybe push it out to their network a little bit more. So again, this is part of the reason that we're all here, is to foster these relationships with different places. So yeah, we're not doing the capital raise on any part, it's working with these other places. If the project sponsor can't do it themselves, through our marketing and other parts to help them, then we can reach out to other partners saying, hey, here's a BD if you need assistance. Thank you.
Thank you guys for
Yes,
your
thank you, everybody.
attention. Please reach out. Great questions.
Yes, thank you.
And yeah, we very much appreciate the community and the ecosystem that Vertalo is fostering here. Happy to be a part of it.